Why my stock always drop 50% if everything is so good? Why?
What?
Why my stock price is dropping?
It's dropping?
Yeah.
It's because of global factors.
Global factor, okay.
Ukraine war, you can see.
Yeah.
COVID game.
COVID game.
But if we see with respect to other automobile companies, the Tesla share is performing really far better than other.
Okay, so that Robbie Upton?
Yeah, there's a light
okay, the fortune teller.
And I have a question.
Yeah.
Why you have chosen the US instead of Canada? Why you have chosen the US?
Because you could find only US.
So where's that come from? Kego?
No, it was some other website.
Okay.
I've mentioned it.
Yeah, always defend your data set, yeah? It's quite well now. Okay, good work, thank you. Please go to your course photo, give Team 2 evaluation. Yeah, I depend on you. Count 50%. Have you provided feedback for Team 2 yet? Oh, good. Yeah. Make sure each of you give evaluation for Team 2 before you do next one.
Submitted in submission. We submitted in the 45 submission.
Okay, email to me, I will reverse back. So you can set up.
Professor, you said you're going to conduct the test online, but I don't somehow my Microsoft Access has been removed from the ITD. So I contacted them, but they are not giving me any resolution. So my teams have primarily not.
You go to a library or go to your campus, do with a camera, then stream the camera. Otherwise, you cannot miss the final exam. Yeah? You can solve it by yourself. You borrow your friend's one, or your IT should give to you. This is your right. You paid UCW. And you pay the license.
They raise the ticket, but
Go to IT support. Why they remove it? It's free.
I don't know why.
You can download it. You can download your MST.
I emailed them and they gave me the new access, but it is
How you will solve the problem, okay? Okay, good. Let's wait for you a few seconds. Good.
Yes.
So Team 3, you should do evaluation earlier than you come to the next presentation. Yeah? So this way we save some time. Okay, good. Wait for a few seconds. Are you feel nervous? I don't think you're nervous, yeah? Yeah? Good? Okay, good. Okay, let's give welcome Team 1. You may start right now. Total 15 minutes.
Good luck, guys.
Good luck. Thank you, guys. Good morning, everyone. My name is Jaewon Fu, and today we want to introduce and present our team project to you. There are 6 members in our team. I am Jaewon Fu, and this is our team leader, Perry. This is Angel, Shashank, David, and Sam. This presentation will last for about 15 minutes, and if you have any questions, please feel free to ask them after the presentation so that we can clear any doubts of yours, and then we can all have a clear picture of the whole team project. The presentation will be divided into 6 parts. First and foremost, I will walk through the data set with you and give you the 2 main research questions that our team project mainly focus on. And then I will also introduce the data collection and data cleaning process. And then Sam will introduce his work of visualization using Tableau. And Perry and I will present the part of k-means clustering with Python. And for the part of classification, it will be presented by Angel and Shashank. Last but not least, David will give us some conclusions that we can draw from the team project, and he will also give us some suggestions and recommendations for us to better prevent and pre-diagnose diabetes in the future. So the data set, we actually got the data set from the website called Mandeli Data. And the data set is about diabetes. It is originally collected from the lab of Medical City Hospital in Iraq. There are in total 1,000 observations in this data set, and there are 14 columns. In these 14 columns, there are 11 variables, which include age, gender, sugar level in our body, and the body mass index, and so on. There are 3 types of different results, which is also called class in the data set. As you can see here, Y means yes, diabetic, N means no, and P is actually means possible or predict diabetic. The data, before we dive into the analysis part of the project, we also need to clean the data first, because we want to make sure that there are no outliers that would interfere the analysis part. As you can see in the data set, there are obviously some non-numeric figures, non-numeric factors in this data set. So we also changed these factors into number 0, 1, and 2. We also go through the whole data to identify and remove the outliers so that they won't interfere with the analysis. The 2 research questions of our team project is, we want to go through the data set, and by doing analysis, we want to identify which factors is mostly related to diabetes. So what is actually causing diabetes among us? And the second one is, after identifying the factors, what can we actually do to better prevent and better pre-diagnose diabetes in the future? So next, Sam will introduce his work of Tableau.
Thank you, Jasmine. For the first tool we use is Tableau software for the data visualization. We have put our each variable or factor into the graph to see. You can see that we trying to see the gap between the patient with diabetes and non-diabetes to see the relationship. And then we found out there are 2 factors that has really high relationship with the diabetes, which is HbA1c and BMI. And then after we identify these 2 factors, we create another graph to put all the factors that has likely to have a relationship with diabetes, and then we compare with those 2 factors to see another relationship with diabetes. And then we further create these 3 graphs to see the relationship with LDL, VLDL, and the last one is the dry line. And then after we look into the graph, we can see that only 2 from those graphs, which are VLDL and dry line, which has a relationship with diabetes. You can see here, like for the patient who has diabetes are most likely to have a higher VLDL and dry line. So this is the result of our visualization, analysis. And next, Perry and Jasmine gonna talk about the k-means clustering.
Yes, for the part of k-means clustering, we decided to go for Python instead of Excel because we thought it would be more fun and more challenging to do so. And obviously, the most important graph we want to produce in k-means clustering is the elbow, right? But before we dive into that, we also want to take a look at the correlation between the variables, like how are they affecting each other. So by importing the data in Python and entering certain codes in Python, we can have this heat map. First, let's look at the color pattern on your right. So we can clearly see that the lighter the color is, the correlation is actually stronger. And the most important information we can gain from this heat map is the last row, because we can clearly see the correlation of different variables to the results. So we can see, like I said before, the lighter the color is, the correlation is stronger, right? So you can see the purple cell here and the 2 orange cells here. That means they're the strongest correlation means. And you can clearly see that the most risky factors are age, HbA1c, which is the sugar level in our body, and also BMI, body mass index. So these 3 variables, these 3 factors are most related to diabetes. And then Harry will introduce the elbow graph.
Okay, more than using the Python for the correlation metric, we also use the Python for creating the k-means in the elbow method. We use the code showing is the code that we use for the Python to create the elbow method. see from this graph, we use the elbow method to segment how many segments we should to have in this data set, and it shows clearly that the K is 3, which are diabetes, non-diabetes, and pre-diabetes. And then to make it more clearly, we create the Python in the convergence of k-mean clustering, and as you can see from this graph, it totally shows, like, it's really clear show that we have a 3 segment, which is no possible and yes, and the centroid is the pink part. And we also got the parallel and angle curve graph to analyze the visualization of the data set. As you can see from those graphs, you will see the similarity of the data set of 2 groups. And then next, Angel will talk about how we can use the correlation from the method, which like correlation is reliable for the classification.
Good morning, everyone. First of all, we did some basic classifications just to get assured and just to understand the data. First, we can look on the analysis on the basis of count of gender, which we converted into percentage, showing that in our data set, like majority of the people are diabetic and least people are predictive diabetic. Moving ahead to the next slide. Then we kind of did average age for people with diabetes, which showed that 55 age is like the average age where people are diabetic, followed by predictive diabetic, that is 43 and 44. Moving ahead, when for the classification part, we chose linear regression and logistic regression. In linear regression, 2 types of variables are taken. One is independent and other is dependent. And it is assumed that there is a linear relationship between both of them. In our data sheet, we took the dependent variable to be the class, which contains 3 categories: non-diabetic, predictive diabetic, and Y for yes diabetic. And we gave 3 values, which is 0, 0.5 and 1. The other components of the human body, such as HbA1c, urea, and cholesterol, CR, BMI, we took that as independent variables to see the relationship between them. In the first analysis of class and BMI, we see that there is a positive relationship between the class and BMI. BMI is the body mass index, which simply means the fat in a person. It simply shows that the people who have more weight are more prone to getting diabetes. Then, seeing the class and cholesterol regression, we can see that it has a moderate relationship between the dependent and independent variable. That means that people who are non-diabetic, they have low cholesterol level as compared to predictive and diabetic people. Moving on, the most surprising relationship and the strongest is of class and HbA1c. HbA1c is the basic component and is the most common component which doctors use to diagnose people with diabetes. It basically means the sugar level in our body. So it has a strong relationship which shows that people who have more sugar in their blood level are more prone to being diabetic. Then further we did the regression analysis to see other components such as CR and urea, and both of these show a very negligible kind of relationship to diabetes. That means that if doctors are doing the test, if they are running tests for diabetes, then these 2 components, which is CR and urea, they cannot be considered significant to know if the person is diabetic or not. Now Shashank is going to talk about the logistic regression.
First of all, thank you, Angel, for providing basic classification and logistic linear regression. Good morning, everyone. I am Shashank, and I am going to tell you about logistic regression, which we have chosen for the another part of classification as analysis. So let's talk about first what is logistic regression. Logistic regression is basically doing an analysis predicting by doing on the basis of the previous observations. And it is basically an algorithm used for doing binary classification process. So in this, the graph, we have chosen HbA1c and cholesterol and age and class. And then with the probability and propensity on the x-axis, and on the y-axis, it is a diabetic person probably yes, P probability and no. And this is showing an odd relation between the x-axis and the y-axis, and this is what we have got through the logistic regression. using logistic regression, one can estimate like likelihood that a given variable or cluster would cause diabetes. So moving forward, we have results like a minor correlation between the variable and a discovered through the linear regression. We have found that the probability score is moderate and the logistic regression demonstrate a responsible fit of the data. So now David will move towards the conclusion.
Okay, thank you, Sasha. So after we analyze about our k-means, or table analyzer, and classification, so we got a common conclusion. That means if you want to know about the database, or if you want to focus about how to solve this problem, you need to focus these two important factors. They are BMI and HbA1c. So for the BMI, it's like your body condition, it's like about your weight. And for the HbA1c, you can just understand that how much sugar that in your blood. And for that, there are some relationship about, if the BMI going up or your HbA1c going up, you will get a higher risk of your database. And also for the VLDL, if it's going up, and also for the HbA1c will also going up. So according to this conclusion, there are 4 recommendations of us. Yeah. So for the first one, losing excessive weight. So the overweight, this problem is serious in nowadays. If you get overweight, maybe you are easier to get this database. So as a doctor or as a hospital, you can to make a short-term goals to your patients, like I need you to lose your weight 1 or 2 pounds 1 week. And second, actively exercising. So it's also like you can help your patients, help you to make a plan. That you need to do some sports every day, like half an hour, and like you can swimming, running, or something else to help you to lose your weight like that. And also for the eating habits, it's also important. You can make a delta table for your patients. Like in the morning for the breakfast, you can just eat some maybe wholemeal bread, and for the lunch you can just only eat some fish, beef, and for the evening, for the dinner, maybe some fruit. Yes, you need just eat healthy fats and give up the foods that like the junk food that have high sugar. And the last is visit on time. So you need to go to visit hospital or visit a doctor like 1 month one time, 2 months one time, like that, because you need to know your condition about your body. You need to make some tests, and if you know some factor in your body, so you can earlier to prevent to get diabetes. Yeah. So they are all of us, and thank you for your attention. Thank you.
Good job. I'm a diabetic patient. I know what to say. But after I lost some weight, did you see I lost weight? Doctor surprised. How can you have no diabetes anymore? That's interesting, right? Yeah, eating less or weight, right? So I think this is very interesting, right? Yeah, there's a lot of position on healthcare analysis. Yeah, particularly Canada is a socialist healthcare. Yeah, government, whatever you spend, they'll pay you. Yeah, so that's a good position. You can work for hospital, work for government, work for healthcare organization. Yeah, there's a lot of position there. So the question for you regarding you guys done wonderful work on K-mean and also Tableau, and on this linear regression, I have a question for you. Linear regression usually is a numerical variable, yeah, and sales relate to something, market demand. Sales relate to your technology, yeah, it's numerical. So why use linear regression to your problem? Why not use the classification, many other methods?
We chose linear regression because we wanted to see the relationship between both the variables, and most importantly, we took, because linear regression involves dependent and independent variable. The dependent variable keeps on changing because of the categories which we take on the x-axis.
Yeah.
So we chose linear regression because we thought that we wanted to know why people who have diabetes, what components in the body are causing it, so that they can, especially for the people who are diabetic and especially for the people.
I got it. So basically, right, as a business professional, you need to try different methods, right? Then you present the best method to your boss, yeah, or to your colleagues, right? That's my wife doing, right? Every day is arguing, right? Otherwise, not convincing. So you should try other method, classify, because you have 3 classifiers, right? Diabetes, no diabetes, pre-diabetes, 3. And you want to classify who have diabetes, yeah? So this is a classified problem. So you could use the Liu-based decision tree, right? And what else? We talk about classify. Many other ones. This is SVM. SVM is a good one, right? Yeah. So that's one. So another question for you, right? You said 2 factors affect your diabetes.
Yeah.
You discussed about age. What's the age effect?
For our
Go to your result. Age impact, right? Coefficient. Do you have a result for age? I saw the age is a big impact, right? When I work in Asia, right? I eat every day, no problem, right? Oh, over 50, I got diabetes right away.
So you know about
this is the average age for our patient.
55, yeah?
You can see that if your age is over 50, you have high risk against diabetes.
So have you studied what's the risk factor?
Yes, we
Yeah.
do. Yeah. In the K-means clustering, on the page of K-means clustering on the heat map, we actually specify that there are 3 most risky factors, which is age, HbA1c, and BMI.
Yeah, I know that the BMI, the sugar level, the age factor. Okay. You got the efficient there,
Yes.
yeah? So that's why this is Python, yeah? Okay, good work. So, any question for team 1? Any question? Diabetes. Who else have diabetes? You have diabetes? No. Yeah. Pre-diabetes. Anyone have for team 1, please?
Because there are many diseases why maybe it's not like you have the data set, that is the reason why you have chosen the diabetes. What is the main reason why you have chosen the diabetes as a research point?
Well, actually, the reason why we want to focus on healthcare industry and diabetes is that diabetes is actually a very common and serious issue in this society, including like my own families. My aunts, my uncles and my aunts both have diabetes, and our professor has diabetes, right? We just thought that
you should present me much earlier, so I'm suffering.
By focusing on the healthcare industry can actually help us to make a difference in the modern society. We know that in the modern society we tend to sit too long at the desk because we need to study, we need to work, and because the lack of physical exercises, the sedentary lifestyle, the unhealthy eating habits, which are all contributing factors to getting diabetes. Also, one thing that worth noticing is that diabetes is so serious that it poses a lot of financial burden on our healthcare system. Like in Canada, there is a research saying that in Canada, only in Ontario, they spend more than $5 million per year on trying to prevent and pre-diagnose and cure diabetes for people. So this is a very serious issue. So that we want to focus on.
So this is why when you solve the problem, right, you need to argue the significance. Yeah. So the developing countries have more risk. India and China, the human body, right?
Yes.
Suddenly you get to reach eat too much good things. Yeah.
Yes,
because
especially in Asia, actually, because Asian communities tend to get diabetes at a much younger age, younger than 50. Yeah. So that's why we want to focus on diabetes.
Very good. Okay, thank you. Good job. Okay. Please give good evaluation for team 1. Team 1, eh?
Yeah.
Team 1. Don't mistake. Okay, team 3, are you ready?
Good job.
Good job. Yeah, of course. Yeah. So you can apply for the healthcare analysis position very immediately. Yeah, okay, you get ready, okay?
Guys, let's start.
We want ratings from professor to please. Let the professor come. Okay, Kim Soo, ready, yeah? You may start right now. 50 minutes. Hello everyone. This is team 3. My name is Priya. We have a group leader Jaya over here, and our other team members Oscar, Maliha, Danny, and Salim. We have done an analysis on Netflix. Okay, now as we say Netflix, I think most of us every day go through see Netflix or all, because today entertainment is more on mobile phones, or our TVs have also all become smart now. So Netflix has the highest market share, which is more than around 50%, and followed by Amazon and many others like Disney, Hotstar and all that. So we have worked on the IMDb, that is the internet movie database. So IMDb is generally the ratings that are given by people when they see a show. So they vote for whatever movie or show they see, and that gives it tells us how good a movie is or how good a show is.